Right now, we are seeing rain move through central Indiana, and that is the best thing we have to tell you about the weather. Over the next few days, temperatures are going to fall, and they're going to fall hard. By Monday, we're talking highs in the single digits and wind chills that will make you want to hibernate until May. That's right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Karen Campbell in for Scott. Rob Ellis is in for Angela. And Rob, it is going to be important starting right now to plan for this Arctic air that's coming.
It's moving in. It's going to take it a day or so before it finally really arrives. Right now we're looking at it locked into Canada, but yeah, we're expecting potentially the coldest air of the season so far, and it will arrive and stay with us for at least 3 days. It looks like 3 days is going to be the time frame. Let's start with what we expect to happen with that colder air that, as I mentioned, is a little farther to the north and west. Temperatures right now are into the 40s, if you can believe that. This is the mild air that moved in. It's 47 degrees in Bloomington, but we do have rain that has begun to overspread the area. Some areas are seeing some showers. There's a lot of snow still on the ground in many locations, and a lot of it is melting. This is a bit of a concern. I'm hoping a lot of this dries up as we see the colder air return, but the colder air is not going to return until this gets out of here. So as far as the timing through the overnight, expect your temperatures to stay pretty mild, likely in the 30s or 40s, holding the colder temperatures until finally most of the moisture is out of here. But this may wrap up as a little bit of light snow tomorrow morning, likely less than a half an inch of accumulation, if any at all, and then the temperatures will drop, and they will continue dropping through the entire weekend, and we settle in. These are high temperatures in the single digits. We'll talk about what that means for overnight low temperatures coming up.
All right, thanks, Rob. The city of Indianapolis is making sure that people who need it have a place to go when that extreme cold hits. Washington Park Family Center will serve as an overnight warming center starting this weekend. It will be open from Sunday at 8 p.m. until Wednesday at 8 p.m. The facility is located at 3130 East 30th Street. Now, most family centers at other Indy parks will also serve as warming centers, but during regular business hours. And you can find all of that information right now at WTHR.com/SceneOn13. And with these dangerously cold temperatures returning to central Indiana, we want to make sure that you've got the WTHR weather app on your phone. You can check current conditions, you can check the radar and our weather blog anytime you need. It is a free download in your phone's app store. A Marion County jury just found an Indianapolis man guilty in the death of a Dutch soldier. A judge read the verdict in court after the jury deliberated for about 5 hours.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Shamar Duncan, guilty of count 1, murder, a felony.
On Friday, a jury found Shamar Duncan guilty of murder in the shooting death of Dutch Corporal Simi Putsema. Duncan was also found guilty on 3 other charges, 2 counts of attempted murder for injuring 2 other soldiers and disorderly conduct. Duncan testified that on the night of August 27, 2022, he and his 2 brothers got into a fight with the soldiers in downtown Indianapolis. After the fight, the soldiers walked back to their hotel. Duncan admitted he and his brothers followed them in his truck. Duncan said he fired at least 9 times into the entrance of the Hampton Inn on South Meridian Street.
Just not thinking, kind of angry at the moment.
You were angry, right?
That's correct.
And you were angry because it's not okay what just happened, was it?
No, sir.
It's not okay that you got into a fight with these guys, was it?
It's not okay that, yes, I would say that, yeah.
Okay, and it's not okay that they won, right?
It's not okay that they jumped us.
Duncan could not recall how the fight started. After the guilty verdict, Putsema's friends and family declined to speak with 13 News. Off camera, the defense said Duncan had a fair trial and the verdict wasn't unexpected. 13 News has learned 26-year-old Putsema served in the war in Afghanistan and in the evacuation of Kabul. He was in Indiana for urban warfare training with his unit. And Duncan is due back in court for sentencing on February 24th. Well, IMPD just released edited body camera footage of a police shooting on Raymond Street near South Meridian. It happened more than a year ago. Police first getting the call about a reported break-in at a Southside business in September of 2023. Police tell 13 News officers found the suspect, Brandon Ramirez, in the building and gave commands for him to surrender. Officers say when he did not, they sent in K9 Ringo. Ringo was stabbed 3 times by the suspect, and that's when at least one officer shot Ramirez.
I'll shoot you.
Ramirez reached a plea agreement in the case and was sentenced for felony burglary. Ringo made a full recovery and is back in service for IMPD. Tonight, a woman is dead and a person of interest is in police custody on the northwest side. IMPD tells 13 News the woman's injuries are consistent with trauma. It happened near West Kessler Boulevard and Lafayette Road. The person detained by IMPD is at the hospital with what police are calling self-inflicted injuries. If you have any information that could help detectives, you're urged to reach out to IMPD or Crime Stoppers. Tonight, 2 men are behind bars after being convicted of robberies involving 2 armored bank cars here in Indianapolis. Devontae Foster was sentenced to 46 years with 36 of those in the Indiana Department of Correction. Lonnie McGill got a 38-year sentence with 28 of those in prison. They were both found guilty last October in connection to the robberies in 2021. One at the Dollar General near 56th and Emerson. The other robbery was at an AutoZone near Washington Street and Post Road. Israel's cabinet just approved a ceasefire deal that would pause the fighting in Gaza and release dozens of hostages. The deal is expected to take effect Sunday. Hostages and Palestinian prisoners are set to be released in 3 phases. And one person still being held captive has family here in Indiana. His nephew tells us that they've had to rely on word of mouth for information about the man's health. Back in October of 2023, Hamas took Oded and Yochki Lifshitz hostage. 45 days later, they released Yochki. Now their relatives hope Oded is safe and released soon.
He's in a very fragile state. The last known information about him was the second stage of hostage releases, and there was one of the hostages was in contact with my uncle, and so we knew that he was alive. But that was over 8 months ago.
Matthew Vivoda says news of the ceasefire gives them hope. He says the hardest part of the last 15 months has been the lack of communication and concrete information. Well, now to an update on the Helping Veterans and Families facility near downtown Indianapolis, significantly damaged by fire back in October. Organization leaders tell us the displaced veterans are now all in either transitional or permanent housing. As for work on the building, they say the North Tower is expected to be back open this summer. The South Tower could take 2 years to rebuild. The fire has been ruled accidental, and the ATF believes it may have been the result of an electrical issue. We are just days away from the college football national championship between Notre Dame and Ohio State. And the Fighting Irish and Buckeyes just arrived in Atlanta today, as did our 13 sports reporter, Dominic Miranda.
A happy Friday evening to you and welcome to Atlanta, the site of the 2025 College Football National Championship. We are so excited to bring you all the coverage leading up to Notre Dame and Ohio State to see who reaches the mountaintop of college football. We just arrived in Atlanta not too long ago, and as you see right here, so too did the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame as they gear up to try and win their first national title since 1988. It's their first appearance in the national championship game since 2012. Ohio State, a tough opponent, there's no doubt about it, and all throughout the weekend we're going to have all the coverage you could ever ask for on air and on WTHR Plus. We're going to get you covered. Media Day will be happening tomorrow. We'll be able to talk to all the players after that. On Sunday, a joint press conference with both head coaches, and of course Monday night, the national championship game between Notre Dame and Ohio State. It's going to be a lot of fun. Keep it locked right here on Channel 13 for all your national championship and Notre Dame football coverage. For now, though, we'll send it back to you, Dominic Miranda, here in Atlanta, 13 Sports.